Hello everyone, it is me Ben from Ben by the Books, where I look at the good, the bad, the ugly, and should you even buy this book in a very quick and concise manner. Today we are looking at one of the last books I read for 2025, which is Margaret Maron's Takeout. We're going to go over the good, the bad, the ugly, and should you even buy this book. If you like these very quick book reviews and other types of booky things that are very quick and concise, please consider subscribing and share and like wherever you watch videos. And let's get into this one. So again, this was Margaret Maron's. This is Takeout. This comes from a long line of hardcovers that I happen to have at my house that I got for super cheap when I was working for the Christmas tree shop, which is now gone. But I got a lot of these really cheap hardcover books, and I've been meaning to read some of these for a long time. So I went into reading this book without really knowing too much about it, besides reading what the dust jacket said on the back. So it's about this this NYPD detective who is basically like doing all these types of detective-y criminal investigations, and comes across two homeless people that have been murdered through poison, I guess. So that was a very interesting plot to go through. Also, there's a couple other side plots that go into it. But overall, I think this one was good. So let's go more into the good. This book right away caught me immediately with how the wording is good. I always like to look for wording, so if wording is really good and pleasing to the eye, then I generally like it. But the premise of it was a little bit different, and I was drawn into it. I like the characters. I like how this was about a detective who's not only trying to solve two murders, but also mourning the murder or the death of her husband or her lover or something like along those lines. So that was a little bit different to go through, something that I don't think we really get in a lot of these thriller type stories. It's always someone that's investigating a murder, but they don't really bring their personal life into it. So that was interesting to have. The other things that was good is this book wasn't too long. So it was roughly 300 or so pages. That's a very good novel. It doesn't go too long. It's not too short. So this one was generally good. Let's go into the bad, because I think there's a little more about the bad than there is the good. So the bad thing about this, or the bad things about this book in general, is one, this is like towards the tail end of a series. So I think there's 8 other books that come before this one. So going into it, they reference a lot of other things that happened in previous books that I don't necessarily know too much about, because again, I haven't read the other ones. So this is like number 10 or number 9 in this series. So again, there's more to explore, and maybe I'll read the other ones and probably do some sort of review on the entire series or something. I don't know. So again, that's kind of the problem with reading some of these books where they're in a series. That doesn't necessarily have to be in order, but you can tell, okay, you probably should have read a couple other ones first before this one. So that didn't really help. And it also didn't really help that they referenced things that I didn't know what it was about, so I wanted to know more about that and focus on that part rather than what the main storyline was about, which again was about this New York police detective investigating murders. The plot in and of itself is kind of self-explanatory. Again, there's 2 people that are murdered, and it's tied into these people that knew the homeless people that were killed or murdered. So it's tied into them, and then there's scandal after scandal after scandal. So someone did this and someone did this to cover this up, and it's all like this jumbled mess. So it gets really confusing as to who is on the good side and who's on the bad guy side. So I think that was definitely a big problem for me, trying to figure out, okay, who was on which side and who should I root for, because each side has so many convincing arguments as to why they're doing whatever they're doing. So that was a big problem. I think the uglier section of this book is it's definitely more obvious than not, probably about halfway through, who killed the homeless people and why. Again, they saw something that they weren't supposed to see, so they ended up just killing them. So again, you probably get about halfway through this book and you figure out right away, okay, it's this person that did it. And the book does a good job of keeping you guessing to the end, but you can kind of already put the two to two together that it was obvious. It's always like an older woman or a disgraced lover that always ends up being the one that kills everybody for whatever reason, for power or just because she wants to. This one in general, I rated this book 3 stars out of 5. It's not great, but it's not terrible. It's readable. It definitely has its moments where it can be a little confusing with the plot and how the families are kind of tied with the homeless people, because again, one of the people kills the homeless people and then tries to cover it up with some of these other people that are in the neighborhood, because then this takes place in New York, so they're all in one of these boroughs, so they all kind of know each other. So that is kind of, again, that's like the only main problem with this book, is the plot and all the characters. Also, if you read this out of order like me, you're probably not going to figure out much of anything or know why certain things are referenced in others. So that was also a big problem. But should you read it, if you're into these types of if you want these really quick thriller mystery ones, this is definitely one for you. If you're not into this type of stuff, then this book is definitely not for you. And that is Take Out by Margaret Maron. Again, it was a good book. It's not terrible, but it's also not the greatest book I've read. And that's this book, Margaret Maron, Take Out. Definitely worth the read if you like these little quick mystery ones, but if not, don't read it. And I just want to thank you all so much for watching. Again, if you like this little type of quick content for book reviews, where I go over the good, the bad, the ugly, and should you even buy this book, definitely consider subscribing and share and like wherever that you watch videos. Thank you all so much, and have a great day.